I had a friend of mine tell me a long time ago, you got to give people the gift of missing you. And I think that's what James Gunn and Peter Safran are doing right now at DC. What's up, everybody? So, a couple of pieces of news from the DC world. First, that James Gunn is going to be writing and directing the Superman sequel. Now, I had my critiques. I didn't like the character of Superman so much, and I think they did a little too much in the first one. I also have this feeling that James Gunn is going to take some of the critiques of the first Superman movies and make adjustments along the way. That's just, my personal take on how it's going to go. And also the fact that they came out recently and said that there are going to be 1 to 2 DCU movies a year. And I think this is great. I think what even James Gunn said before, where they asked him once, is like, okay, so how many DCU movies are going to be coming out every year? And he said, look, we're only going to make the ones that are good enough to be made. I can't answer that question. So instead of boxing yourself in with this, crazy quota of X amount of movies that have to be done, he's saying, look, we're going to work on the scripts, we're going to work on the movies and make sure that we get the best possible product out for people to enjoy. And that's such a breath of fresh air because I think at one point, I forget what year it was, but it was like 9 different projects that the MCU was going to come out with. And to say it's too much is a great understatement. I mean, one of the things that I always felt was a great thing when James Gunn left the MCU and became the creative head for the DCU is that he worked very close with Kevin Feige and saw how at a certain point he was just stretching himself too thin with too many projects being produced at the same time. And I think this time around, he's like, he can learn from those mistakes. So he's saying, look, we're definitely not going to be doing 6, 7, 8, up to 9 projects at the same time. We're just going to do the best ones that we can efficiently put together, and the audience will respond to it. And so instead of just, flooding the market with so many different projects and things that they have to watch to the point where it feels like homework, let's just entertain them with the best movies that we can. And I think if James Gunn and Peter Safran can just hold fast to that particular strategy, I think sky's the limit for the DCU. Because then every time a movie comes out, it's an event. It's not just, we can just wait a couple weeks and another one will come out. No, it'll be something special and the audience will fall in line for those things. And so, I'm looking forward to this journey that they're starting on. I mean, the start is always best, even if you go back to the MCU with Iron Man. It was a great start. There were a couple of missteps here and there as far as like, okay, this movie isn't as good as some others are. But at the very least, an MCU movie felt special when it came out back in the day. Whereas at some point, it just became routine. And once it becomes routine, it just kind of loses its allure, it loses its magic, and eventually the audience just loses interest. And so I think by keeping the interest now in the DCU with only 1 to 2 things a year, I think if they go more than that, they're already starting to push it. So if they keep it to just 2, if it's just 1, I'm happy with that. But if it's just 2 a year, I think it'll continue having that feeling of it's a big moment. And then the movie fans will support it because of it. Anyway, those are my thoughts. What about you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.